Living in the present. Listen, folks, if we get stuck daydreaming about the past or the good old days yet to come in the future, we're going to inevitably miss the blessing and the great things God has for us today in the present. Today, I'm going to show you as to why we are closest to God when we resist the temptation to live in the good old days of the past or the future days, great days yet to come. This is great news for all who seek God, so let's get started. Greetings, everybody. My name is Steve Garofalo. This is Reason for Truth, where the truth comes first and the reasons come last, but where we're always and constantly learning. Why? Because when we stop learning, we stop teaching, or at least stop teaching well. As you know, this is the channel and the organization that helps you, both Christian and non-Christian, to cut through the fog of culture's distorted truth and the relativism. Bring you some truth, and that always starts with the truth of God, as we are in this channel. But everybody, a lot even non-Christians, telling us, hey, we're getting a lot out of this. Before we get started, do a couple things. Give the old gancio sinistra. You know what that is? Boom, left hook, right hook. It's the Italian punch there. Just smash that subscribe button. You just click that alert bell. And you want to check out our community at StephenGarofalo.com. It's wise to live in the present. Do not say, why were the old days better than these days? For it's not wise to ask such questions. Ecclesiastes 7:10 makes clear that. One common aspect of life is that it's neither valuable nor wise in terms of looking or pining for the good old days. The temptation to glorify the past days at the expense of the present, it really needs to be resisted. The pleasures and advantages of those days may be more imaginary than real, folks. I mean, there's right. The old days weren't perfect. They had their challenges. Today's not perfect. It has its challenges. We are called to persevere and just work our way through. God has neither past nor future. This is really what I want to get to. He simply is I am, right? He simply is. And we can't imagine that because we always have a start point, a past. We always have a future, I guess, where we're planning on going, but we certainly have a present. God is. He just one exactly I amness, which covers past, present, future as one thing. So as we would imagine in one moment in space and time continuing, encompassing eternity, that's God. To best understand it, that we can understand it in concept, but we are not infinite beings. So for us to fully grasp infinitude is impossible. Very well anyways, because we were born into the time-space continuum. God is outside the time-space continuum. God, again, is outside this time-space continuum, which means the universe as something eternal. He never didn't not exist. There was never a time where there was not God. So he never had a start point, and like all of the created things, including you and I, we did. And as such, this should instruct all people as to the brevity of life, the importance of living for today as opposed to the good old days of yesterday. In that note, I want to just insert, I was in a leadership meeting last night, heard about a young man in his 20s, just passed away instantly in a car accident. Very sad. But they said that they had just really brought him back to the Lord. I don't know if he had just come to the Lord or they brought him back to the Lord, and that was a great news. And it shook up a lot of the people in the room, understandably. But at the end of the day, life's breath is, listen, it's very short. It's very temporal. Whether you live 100 years, it's still short. That sounds like a lot if you're young, but it's not. It will come and go quickly. So what the world or one's country was is a thing of the past. It always is. I don't care how good your country or how bad or in the middle of your country is. Yesterday was yesterday. Your country, your life, your age, nothing is the same, exactly the same, 1 minute later, 1 second later. So what a thing is in the present is what God has on hand for it at that moment for his purpose. We should avoid certainly apathy. Jesus is coming, the world's coming to an end. We need to embrace the mission, embrace the present world the Lord has called us to, and it means to impact that world for Christ. This may mean staying where you're at or leaving your job or maybe even another country, wherever God's called you to. It may entail leaving your state again or even the continent. I have no idea. The people are doing that, and that's fine. You just make sure if you're running from something that you're running to something. My father left Italy as a young man. It was a good move to leave. They always said the Italians came here for a better life. Mussolini had come in. He brought fascism with him. And if America fails to allow for a better life, it may be wise for you to move to another country or another part of the country, right? So a lot of people moving from blue states to red states. Some even moving red states to blue states. It fits their lifestyle. But that's for that time and moment in history. So in conclusion, the only constant, folks, is change. We ought to get used to that and accept the fact that this is truth. It's the biblical cornerstone in our pursuit of God and understanding his nature and who he is through our relationship through Jesus Christ, certainly with him, because God is, remember, I am. And we are closest to him when we place our mind, our heart, our present trust, and our love in him. When we put our trust in God today, we're making sure that we're not focusing on the past and certainly not focusing on the future. If we get stuck one day, if you get stuck daydreaming about the past, the good old days yet to come in the future, we're going to inevitably miss the blessing, many blessings, and the great thing God has for us today in the present. All right. So in closing, if you enjoyed today's content, you'd like to learn more, go to equippedacademy.com for some great online training. You could even go there and hit the button, join our community at stephengarofalo.com. No charge for that. God's blessings to you. Let's make sure we enjoy today for what today is. Worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. I'm your host, Stephen Garofalo, and this is your Reason for Truth for today.